Welcome to the Paisans podcast. We're your hosts, the brothers from other mothers, Dante, Dave, and Sark. Join us as we talk about current events, our wives, kids, or whatever else life is throwing at us this week. You're with the Paisans, you're with family. Jen and I have been watching this new show. It's not new, but it's Sebastian Maniscalco's show on HBO, Bookie.
I've watched it.
Have you watched it?
Yeah, I finished the second season. The short episodes. I watched it
Yes.
basically in like one sitting.
Mike, you'd really like it. It's funny. He's like a small-time bookie with this buddy of his who's an ex-football player who's like kind of the muscle, big dude. Cool. And it talks about a lot of modern like things in the zeitgeist today. But I like Sebastian Maniscalco. He is really funny. So
Same.
And Dave, I think the fact that the show is so small, like the short episodes, part of the reason why we love it. Because we love these quick 22-minute, super digestible comedies. Love them.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. They're easy to watch. Everyone can get enjoyment out of them. There's no real you don't have to be like super, super focused either when you're watching it. You know, it's like but it is entertaining and you should watch it. It's actually really well done too. You know, it's the guy who did 2.5 Men. Chuck Lorre is a producer.
Wow.
So it's like, it's the same guy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You've seen the first few episodes, I'm guessing, right? I mean, how many have you watched?
Oh, I've seen them all up to the latest.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Charlie Sheen. That's why Charlie Sheen makes his appearances as himself in that show.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
That's
Mike, Charlie Sheen is... They're bookies, so of course at some point that, Charlie Sheen owes them money.
Yeah.
And he's like as big a derelict as you could possibly imagine. Like he really
he's
leans
playing into it.
He's very funny.
So I was going to say he's just embracing it.
Yes.
Well, you remember him and the guy from Chuck Lorre had a big falling out when 2.5 Men came out. They had a huge falling out when Charlie Sheen was going through the whole Tiger Blood phase.
Yes,
of
and
his
he was
life.
blaming Chuck Lorre for everything.
Yeah. So it was funny to see them kind of reunite, and I mean Sebastian Maniscalco is good and he has a big following, so I think that show has somewhat of a following from what I could tell.
It should. It's funny. It's well written, it's funny, and we find it entertaining. And so I recommend it, Sark, if you're looking for something like easy to watch with the wife. We can both laugh.
Watching it? Netflix or
HBO Max?
Yeah. I'll definitely check it out. We love him. I didn't know that they had that show. Like, we watched all of his stand-ups and love him. I mean, he's great.
Yes. Well, same thing. Like, it was a couple months ago. I was flapping through. I'm like, what's this? I didn't realize he had a show, And when I saw what it was, I was like, oh, it's actually pretty funny. I saw clips of another, what's his Nate
Bargatze.
Bargatze, that's his name, Nick Bargatze. And, he's funny. He's got that real understated sort of delivery and everything. He just came out with like his 4th Netflix special in like as many years. I mean, it's like the guy, it feels like every year he's putting out another Netflix special. And it feels kind of like Netflix is making deals with these young comedians to do a series of specials. And I thought the same thing about Sebastian Maniscalco. He did a bunch of specials on Netflix. I want to say he did like 4. And by the time they get to the last one, it's like, I don't know, it just feels like they haven't had as much time. And not to say that like this one that I was watching, Nate Bargatze, I was like, there's good, I mean, he's got some funny jokes. He's chuckles, but they're all good chuckles. Like for him, it's mostly all good chuckles. Maniscalco always gets me once or twice. Like he's just funny. But when you're watching 45 minutes and you're like, okay, quite a bit of this, I'm just kind of like, just not that funny.
It's got to be really hard to keep producing content like that. And whatever the agreement is, it reminds me of like a record deal.
Right.
Exactly. At some point, it's like, wow, you're really fishing for like the next hit or the next great joke. It's got to be really hard to do. I can only imagine that. And I think that's why guys like Chappelle maybe got out of those types of deals and really wanted to run things their own way.
Yeah.
But they were just focused on quality of what they were writing. It's like, if I need 4 years, I need 4 years,
Yes. I think Chappelle is a unique talent. I think he is kind of like, he and the guy from South Park are similar, Trey Parker, in that they are like
so dialed
seeing
in.
the funny angle, going for it, writing the funny lines. Like Dave Chappelle is just a master, and he has gotten so much better. Say what you will, he's always been funny, but he has gone to another level in the last 10 years.
His joke writing is unbelievable now. I mean, he has, in one of his later specials, he has one of the funniest jokes that I think is ever been written and may ever be written. When I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's when he I kicked her in the pussy. The whole thing. Do you know the bit I'm referring to?
I believe so. Yes.
He sets it up with where he's talking about. He's like, I've gotten so good at writing jokes. He's like, I have this bowl where I have punchlines just written, and I could just pull it out, and I could just say a joke. And he's like, one day I could just pull something out and just say I kicked her in the pussy. Then he goes on for like 5 minutes or so, and then wraps up the joke, and he's like, and I kicked her in the pussy, and it's like it just absolutely kills. But you're like, that's a really well written joke from start, a thought out joke from the start to finish, and to make it like just bite like that is impressive.
Yes, I think he is actually one of those guys who gets into a flow and doesn't even know I think he actually writes that like almost spontaneously and doesn't even realize when he starts it that he's coming back around to it. He's just so in the flow that's what happens. It's natural, and he's so good at figuring out that way to make you think you're in one place and then show you unless you're not at all where you thought you were. And that's why it's so funny, But not many guys have that much talent. Not many people, I shouldn't say guys. Not many people have that level of talent. I think Dave Chappelle in particular is like on another level. Other people, they can come up with hysterical content, but they need more time and they need to be able to filter out the stuff that isn't great. And what I think happens is you reach that point where you're like, I need it. Like I need enough jokes to fill the time. So I'm going to tell this joke, which doesn't kill, but it's going to add 4 more minutes to my act. You know? And that's a shame. Like, that's a shame because it almost hurts their legacy. Like, think about Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy came out with, on record, it was called Comedian, but it was called Delirious on video. Eddie Murphy Delirious, where he was in the red leather, which
I remember it well, man.
Iconically hysterical. And then it's like 10 plus years and he does Raw, which was equally iconically hysterical. Now, I don't know if he's done another one since. I want to say he has, but he did those two. They were so good. Part of the reason was because he had time in between to like come up with jokes, do some jokes, and get rid of them and realize this doesn't, and come up more time to come up with better jokes.
That's right. They're testing them out. Small stages, small audiences. Yeah.
And it's just, it's a shame because by the end, it feels a little bit like, I would hate to think that a guy like Nate Bargatze suffers because some people might look at that and decide they're not going to go see him or that he's just not that funny because they're seeing, now when he's sort of got to commit. I mean, again, I sound like I'm knocking the guy. Again, he was relatively funny, but I just remember watching it. It was just sort of like I could take it or leave it. And I feel that way about a lot of the comedians on Netflix lately. Like they sort of give a special to anybody. And it's like, this person doesn't have 55 minutes of solid material.
The problem with Netflix is that there's just too much content, whether it's stand-up comedy or just really awful movies that no one cares about. They're just putting out so much garbage. So it's just a plan. Find a bunch of comedians, probably overpay them, and just have them mass produce content.
Okay. I have a different question. This is just like a really interesting conversation starter. Just a slightly related topic. What do you think is the optimal set of online providers, not providers, but like services to have? So like Netflix, Amazon Prime, Paramount Plus, Mac. I know I'm missing Disney Plus,
Apple TV, Hulu,
Apple TV. So let's keep it to those 7. Like of the big ones, those are the majors. Which ones do you guys think are the most important to have? YouTube Premium. I have YouTube Premium.
YouTube should.
I don't have YouTube TV. I have YouTube because YouTube TV is like over $100 a month or something.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, they're hiking the price up because I was gonna look into that. I think you honestly have to split it with someone. Like you need to find a second household to split it with. It's like it's getting that expensive for that.
It's over $100. It's like it's not cable, dude.
It's becoming cable basically.
Yeah, but here's the thing: that's way more than I need. Yeah. So I don't need to pay for that. I mean, I see what you get with it. I'm like, I don't want any of this shit.
Yeah. I guess to start off that question, I feel like the two that jump out immediately are Netflix and then Amazon Prime, but for different reasons. Netflix is just kind of the first one, so I think everyone is familiar with it. It probably has the most content, and it's almost like having an iPhone, where it's like you have a Netflix account. It's almost like a stigma to have, like, if you don't watch Netflix, it's like you don't have an iPhone. You know what I mean? So it's almost like the brand recognition for Netflix And then with Amazon Prime, at least for me, is the fact that you can order from Amazon and have the benefits of that Prime membership.
Yes.
So I think those two are at least the two that are the optimal to start with.
I paused my Netflix account like more than once. And I look back and I'm like, maybe that was stupid because it didn't save me a lot of money. I think maybe I thought I would pause it for longer than I did. Like maybe I thought I would pause it for 6 months, but then a couple months would go by and somebody would say there's this new show on Netflix. So the cool thing is you can go on and reactivate your account. But I went through a period, Dave, like to your point with content, where I was questioning if it was worth it, even though it felt like it should be a staple.
I was thinking exactly the same thing, Mike, is I'm not sure that I need Netflix. They have a lot of garbage. They have a lot of content, but most of it is garbage. I'm just not, garbage I suppose is strong, but if my kids weren't around, I don't think I'd ever watch it.
Yeah.
I said to the girls, I was like, I'll get rid of Netflix. No, they watch Too Hot to Handle and, some of the brain melting trash,
Yeah.
But I don't see much else on Netflix. When I watch, there's never anything that I'm like, oh, I really want to see that. Not for me.
There's a lot of foreign movies.
They do have a lot of that
shows.
too.
Yeah.
I don't know about Paramount Plus. Like, I don't have Paramount Plus.
So that's actually a good one to call out too. I forgot about that one because that is a good one. I have that one through my Prime. So I do have that. And they now, I guess they must have bought out Showtime or something. So that included like the Showtime shows and all that stuff.
How'd you get that with Prime, Dave? I have Prime, but I don't get Paramount.
You have to pay extra. It's like an add-on feature basically.
Okay.
Okay.
You could actually, I think you could do that with like Apple TV and certain other streaming, so maybe even Disney Plus or Hulu. Like you might even be able to get through an Amazon Prime like plug-in or something like that.
So Hulu is another one that I've considered. It's like Hulu. Netflix, I'm not sure I need. Hulu has what? Television? It's like mostly television shows?
Yeah, it's a lot of shows, but they have movies too.
They have movies too, like it's 20th Century Fox. So, but you should be able to get Hulu now through Disney Plus.
I haven't opened Disney Plus in a while. So I was thinking like I might get rid of Disney Plus because I don't know, man. Until like the Star Wars stuff and other stuff starts getting better, the Marvel stuff, I don't know, man.
They have these Verizon deals where if you renew your iPhone, you get a year of Disney Plus. You could kind of ride some of those things and not ever have to really pay out of pocket. I think now it's like $120 something a year. It used to be 75. Yeah,
it is.
I don't think I would pay that out of pocket.
So it's one of these things where it's like I've got it in November of one year, so it like randomly updates in November. You know what I mean? It's like, so when I see it happen, if I call them immediately and say, hang on, refund my money, I want to cancel, like I could do it.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
I want to be able to watch Star Wars, I suppose. So some part of me is like, I'll pay for it because I still have access to like watch anything Star Wars that I want. HBO Max, I get basically access to almost anything DC that I might want to see.
I have to say that's one of the better ones. I find myself gravitating toward HBO Max because you can watch movies that, are relatively new. Like they're not still in the theater, but they're relatively new releases. Like by the time I get to them and realize what's out there, HBO Max is kind of the place to go.
Same.
A lot of the shows are still some of the best out there.
Right.
And to your point, now they have the DC hub, they have the Cartoon Network hub.
I can go back and watch The Sopranos. I can go back and watch The Wire. Like I can go back and watch classic series,
That's what Max and Disney Plus have an advantage over Netflix, Amazon Prime, because they have that built-in audience. I mean, the HBO shows they're tough. If you have access to them, it's kind of tough to give them up too, because it's always exclusively on HBO. They really don't pass that stuff out very often. So it's not like you're going to find that on Amazon Prime. So that gives them, I guess, the edge in value. I guess that's you know what I mean? Like they have that, and they have the built-in audience almost too. Because like to your point, Dante, if you're a Star Wars fan, you give up Disney Plus, you're like, when else am I going to see it now? Or like where else? Like if I want like on demand like that.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
So,
I mean, I have DVDs.
Sure.
I have Blu-rays. Okay.
Sure.
So if I want to pop it in or whatever, I can do that. But it's sort of nice to just be able to go, I want to watch this episode or whatever, pull it on, put it on, stop it, watch more of it later.
Mm-hmm.
Just the convenience, I mean,
does YouTube Premium omit commercials only? Like that's what you get out of paying for it? Or do you also get something else? Like, do you get access to movies on YouTube?
not movies, but you also get like it'll play on your phone or on your device if you close it. So if you're playing like an audio track of something on YouTube and you minimize it and you like go to another app or something with YouTube Premium, it'll keep playing for you.
Got it.
And honestly, it's worth it to me. I watched YouTube more than anything.
Yeah,
I feel like that should be a standard feature. That should be allowed. But I guess that's fair. I guess that's why they do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's kind of bullshit, but it is what it is.
Even cable TV had commercials,
That's the thing. Well, now they all have commercials. I mean, they play these football games. They all have commercials. I mean, Amazon Prime. That's something that actually kind of pisses me off about Amazon Prime is that now I get ads. They're like, if you don't want ads, you could pay like $2.99 more, and you're like, I'm almost holding out like for pride's sake, You're like, I'm not, it's like I'm being petty about it. Like I don't want to give up that $3 because that's BS.
Right. Plus, you get it too. It's a precedent. It never goes backwards.
Right.
Right. So now it's $2 or $3. Next, it'll be $5. Next, it'll be how about for a year you can pay. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Well, that's why I asked the question initially because I am just feeling more and more inclined to get rid of the things that I don't use, and Netflix is one of them. I'm just like, once my kids are older or they're not around, I won't have a need for it. It's not so much even about, I mean, I suppose it's the money a little bit, but I just have all these things and it's just like month after month I'm paying for this and I do not look at it.
It adds up. It definitely adds up,
It's
and the cool thing about Netflix, like you don't have to delete the account. You could just put it on hold. There's probably get to a point where they ask you like either shit or get off the can, but you can at least suspend it pretty easily.
Yeah. Well, there have been more other services that I've been looking at lately that I'm like, maybe I'd pay for something that's more specialized, more specific to my interest, like there's this Drumeo. I don't know if you guys have heard of Drumeo.
Oh, yes.
Sure,
we watch Drumeo all the time on YouTube.
I have not.
Dave, I think Dad actually has a Drumeo account, but it's, it's online and it's access to like thousands of videos of instructors taking you through exercises to help you improve in different styles of drumming, different rudiments, improving different specific things. Like I've been looking at a lot of videos lately for like how to improve your weak hand, like my left hand, like how do you get your left hand stronger? All sorts of exercises. And then they have like catalogs of music with the separated tracks so you can listen to a song without the drum track on it. So you can play along with a metronome and there's no drums. Just hear yourself and then you can like record yourself for, if you want to play it on YouTube. There's all these drummers. You can go out and watch, drummers play covers of random songs. Sometimes it's like note for note, I'm playing this song. And sometimes it's like they add all sorts of flair and other stuff to it,
You know who's a teacher on that now? The guy we like.
El Estepario.
Yes, Estepario.
Yeah. He's one of course, shocking. He's a teacher in speed.
Yeah.
In improving your speed. Okay. Speed is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Okay. Yes.
And Dad knows him. I was sending Dad some tracks of him, like some of the recordings of him. And Dad was like, that guy's crazy. That's amazing. Like, Dave, he's taken songs like metal songs that are like super fast and he's playing them one-handed.
Keep sending.
He's doing rolls, single-handed rolls.
Those videos of him before.
Yes. Where he's like smoking while he's doing it, drinking tea.
Sipping.
I know, right?
It's pinky up.
He's great. I know.
Slipknot.
Anyway, like I'd rather spend, now that stuff isn't cheap. That's like $20 a month or something when you work it out, you pay an annual fee for that. So, and it's not cheap. I would feel better about spending money on something like that if I could be like, I got rid of Netflix. And so basically for the same money, I got, Drumeo.
They're each like $20 a month. Like even Netflix now is basically that, right? I mean, Amazon Prime's up there. So it's like if you have 3 or 4, you're looking at $80, more than likely, because they're all inching up in price and they're just going to continue doing so. Then you got to pay for internet and like all this other stuff on top of it, right?
Yeah.
And then I think the thing for me that makes it tough is the live sports, which now I know some of these streaming services are starting to incorporate. So Hulu, for example, you can get like your local sports channels through Hulu if you do Hulu TV. I think YouTube does the same thing.
Paramount Plus is doing that. So if you get the Jets on CBS, you're getting them on Paramount Plus.
Right.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Because it's CBS. Wow. That's interesting. But it recognizes your location, and so it restricts you to your local market. I've been thinking about a VPN. And like, you know, a lot of these services like NordVPN and these other services, like now that I have my own Mac, and, you know, Jen's had her own Mac all this time too. And I said to her, like, you sure we shouldn't have a VPN just to protect, I don't know, is it protect you online? And she was like, well, what do we need it for? And I was like, I don't know. I guess I just feel like all our stuff is being seen everywhere we go, and I don't want it to be seen everywhere I go. And one of these things I think that's what they block you from doing. Like, I think they make it so that people don't know everything about you just because of you're on their website. And then you can also, I know you can change your location. So you can say, like, connect me to a server in, like, you know, the Northeast New Jersey area. And then if you go on Hulu, it should say, oh, you should be able to watch this game on CBS.
Well, I have a close friend who does exactly what you just described, uses a VPN to alter the location in order to get that programming or like whatever content is being offered. Yeah.
It also then opens up what you have available to you on the services you pay for. So for example, Netflix has different programming in Europe than it has here. So you can change to like England and just see like what do they have on Netflix in England. And sometimes it's like, you know, shows of theirs or it's American movies that they just are making available to them over there, which is actually really cool. When I went to England a bunch of years ago, I was like a couple of these series they had on that I started watching. I was like really getting into them, you know, these British comedies, which are of course hysterical. And then I came home and I was like, I couldn't wait to watch it. And I didn't even realize that Netflix was localized. So when I went on, I'm like, what the hell? You know, that's how I figured it out.
Is there a YouTube package where you also get the movies?
Well, YouTube probably has some rights to certain movies that they offer through whatever their, you know, like whatever their premium services or what I would guess. I don't have that, so I don't know. But I would imagine that they do. Because, I mean, I do see just using regular YouTube, it'll advertise that you could watch a movie, but there's going to be ads. So I'm assuming they have the right to that movie without ads if you have some sort of premium service. So it's probably just like any other streaming service where they kind of bid them out, I guess. Like they have like monthly contracts and they bounce, all these things bounce around to different streaming services anyway.
As of January 2025, YouTube TV's base plan costs $82.99 per month.
It's a base plan. It's probably got nothing.
That includes tax. What's included? Over 100 live TV channels, including local and national. Sports, news, and entertainment, unlimited cloud DVR storage, on-demand movies and shows.
But what's
the add-on packages? Spanish, 4K plus, an additional $9.99 per month for ultra-high definition streaming, offline downloads, and unlimited simultaneous streams at home. Premium add-on networks, HBO Max, Showtime, and Stars for an additional monthly charge. Interesting. I mean, that seems high to me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't watch enough TV.
It is.
You know?
They have a contract over, you know? I mean, so it could be the worst movies ever, you know? It could be just awful content, but at least it's on demand.
So I looked up YouTube Premium, okay? YouTube Premium is $13.99 per month for the individual, $22.99 per month for the family plan. And that's what I did. I get the family because, you know, and for that you can share it with up to 6 users, which is perfect because we have 5 in the family. You get ad-free viewing of videos, offline viewing of videos and playlists on mobile devices, which is true. Background playback of videos on mobile devices, which is what I was just talking about. Access to YouTube Music Premium. Generally, I guess I do see movies on there, but I guess I didn't realize that it was...
you know what kinds of movies are on there, Dante? It's like the movie Beer League that Artie Lang made. That's a great movie, really? By the way. I don't know if it actually is, but I mean, it's like movies like that. Like I've actually watched another Artie movie. It's either the one he had with Dave Chappelle or the one he did with Norm Macdonald. I can't remember which one, but I watched
Dirty
it
Jobs. Was it Dirty Work?
Dirty Work. I think it was Dirty Work. I watched on YouTube once a few years ago.
Straight to YouTube.
Yeah, it like had all these commercials in it, and I don't know. I just had it on in the background.
Yeah,
but I mean, I feel like you would find those types of movies.
Got it. That makes sense. I'll pay that, but $82.99 per month. I mean, I'm sorry, it's just way more than I need.
It seems like it's all about the ads more than anything else, right? I mean, when it really boils down,
like they give you tons of TV stations, but like we're just not a TV watching family.
I find some of the Prime original shows to actually be very good, and some of the I guess they all have shows that have merit, but to the point you were making, Dave, like you really have to sift through it, or it's word of mouth. I mean, usually it's
word of mouth. I actually, now that we're talking about it, there is a show on Netflix that I watched called The Night Agent that I really liked, and they just came out with the second season of that, actually.
Okay.
So there is something for me to watch.
What is that? But I've seen that.
Well, the premise of the show is like he's a government. It's one of those movies where they're like all in the government. It's all like in the government clandestine stuff. He's in the CIA. He's basically the lowest of the low, you know, he's the night agent. He's got to like man this phone from like 12 o'clock to like 6 a.m. or something. And it's just like him in a room with a phone. And the idea is the phone should never ring, but if the phone rings, shit is serious. And like there's a book, and it's like virtually any possible scenario is in this book, you know? And so he's just like in there one day, sure enough, the phone rings, and it's just like, it's this whole thing of these agents who are under threat, and they call him as like a last resort, and he's supposed to give them information. And so he tells them certain things, gives them certain code words, then he's got to go report it. And that sets a whole bunch of like things in motion where like, you know, people are chasing other people, and but I have to say, I want to say it was 10 episodes or so, and it suffers from the Netflix bloat. It's like 10 episodes that probably could be done in 6.
Yeah.
And be tight and good and be like, dude, that was good, you know, because every episode was like pacing and going. And unfortunately, Netflix has this stuff inside it that at the end of the series, you're like, what was this and this and this for? Like, who cares about that? It wasn't necessary, you know, it didn't move the story along. It was just extra stuff. So, and I think a lot of them do suffer from this. It's like, well, we got to make this 13 episodes, right?
100%.
So there was a little bit of that, but all things considered, like when it got to the end, I was like, oh, this actually paid off. I like this show, you know, so I'll watch the second season, but that's one that I will download. So Sark, I'll download that and then I'll watch it on the bus ride back after we hang out on Thursday. If I'm sitting here at home, I kind of don't want to commit to watching a show that's like that long. That's when I watch YouTube, you know.
I find if I'm watching YouTube with my boys, it's the kind of stuff where we can socialize openly as we're watching it. It's like content where you can sort of react together, so it feels a little bit more like a social situation on top of watching something versus a movie. I mean, you're going to put the lights down, everybody's going to be quiet, it's going to be 2 hours, everybody's really paying attention. So like for us, it's a lot of times we have intentions to watch a movie, but it feels so much easier to stick something on YouTube that we like and, you know, kind of be loud, talk over a little bit and not miss a lot.
That's right, Mike. I think that's true. When I sit down, I go to watch something. Usually it's like watching a whole movie feels like such an investment. We'd rather watch just like a few shorts together or whatever. Additionally, somewhere along the line as a family, like we just stopped being TV watchers. Like we don't put the TV on all day long. In fact, there's days and days the TV doesn't even go on really. Turn it on if you watch like one episode of Friends and turn it off.
Right. I was going to say, and if you want reruns, I don't know if you guys have checked out Tubi. It's free. You don't have to create any type of an account. You literally download the app, you're in it. And it's shows and movies, and they have like a pretty extensive library. Like you would be pleasantly surprised. You're not going to get brand new stuff.
No. There's ads in it, right?
There's ads. Not a lot of ads. You get most like front loaded.
Yeah. Pretty sure that's an Amazon. They are owned by Amazon.
That might be true, actually. I feel like I've seen Tubi stuff. Like there's Freevee through Amazon.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Freevee is. I see that one. There's actually one funny show I watched from Freevee. It was like a Freevee original. It was called a show where it was like a reality show where they faked a jury, and there's one person who thought it was a real jury, and that everyone else around them was an actor. I think it's called Jury Duty or something. It's
my gosh. It was Freevee that was owned by Amazon. I mean, say what you want. there's things about Amazon that I don't love because like there's certain things you just really realize you shouldn't buy on Amazon. But overall, it's just great for like, oh, I need something, and half the time you can get it like the next day.
Well, they're doing same day delivery on some things. I'm noticing.
As it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, they must do things like cables and wires and adapters. They must have some, I don't know how they seem to have. Those are things that it's like, if you get the Amazon basics, it's like, Dave, those are almost always available. Like today, they're like, we'll be there in a half hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, where do you keep these things? It's like they got a guy driving around just with a shitload of wires in the car, like waiting for the call. It's like, I don't know how they're making money, but they're making money, obviously.
Yeah, and then they have this like we're going to guarantee that it's going to come to you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday morning. You're like, it's okay. I don't need it at 8 a.m. On Sunday morning. It's okay. I can wait till Monday. Then I see the driver. I'm like, it didn't. Hopefully this wasn't an inconvenience to you. I didn't need it right now.
He's looking at you. He's like sweat pouring down his brow. He's like blood soaking through the back of his shirt from where they've been whipping him.
Sir, your HDMI input, sir.
I just need to take a photo of it, please, sir. Just back up for my sake, sir.
That actually happened to me the other day. A driver I was trying to just take it from them, and they were like, "Oh, can you hold on a second?" They pushed me away, and they like took the picture, and they're like, "Okay, here you go." And like, it's like, okay. I was like, that's kind of weird.
It's just so funny.
Sir, I need you to back up and go back in the house, and I need you to pretend that you did not see me. Okay, I need you to count to 20, and then slowly come back out of the house. The package will be here.
Sir, look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. My family they've kidnapped my family. Sir, please just go back in the house. You never saw me here, sir. Sir, please, for the sake of my children.